Good morning. Before I get started, I'd like to tell you how Back to Business works, but first I want to thank and acknowledge both DreamWorks Animation and Structural Focus for joining the city in this collaborative effort. As much as I've wanted to initiate a program like this for quite some time, it would not have happened if it were not for the fact that Matt Bogard and David Cocke reached out and joined me to make this public-private partnership possible. Back to Business, or B2B, is the first program of its type here in Southern California. It's a voluntary program wherein a private entity like DreamWorks can secure the services of a qualified engineering firm like Structural Focus to take early steps to ensure the rapid business recovery and protection of its people. While we can't prevent a major disaster or earthquake from occurring, we can take steps to prepare ourselves. And that's exactly what B2B does. It helps prepare us for the next inevitable disaster. Think about it. When the next major earthquake strikes Glendale, it will not just affect DreamWorks Animation or the Glendale Galleria or individual homes or apartments or condominiums. When that earthquake hits, it's going to affect everything at the same time. In an instant, building and safety's inspection and engineering staff will be overwhelmed, and we won't be able to provide damage assessment as quickly as we would like. Building and safety has limited staff, and I'll have to dispatch small teams of inspectors and engineers to perform that structural damage assessment as quickly as we are able. Based on statewide experience after the Northridge earthquake and Loma Prieta, we know that it will take weeks and possibly months to complete the first round of initial assessment inspections. And we can't count on assistance from neighboring cities like Burbank, Pasadena, or even the city of Los Angeles, because if a big earthquake hits, it will affect them as hard as it hits us, and they'll be overwhelmed themselves. Here's where B2B will benefit the City of Glendale. Participating entities, just like DreamWorks, will be pre-qualified to perform their own damage assessment inspections by using private engineers whom I deputize individually in advance to perform that work. This will free my staff from having to spend time here on the DreamWorks campus, and instead they can spend their time assisting others in need throughout the city. In effect, it expands my staff's ability to perform emergency damage assessment throughout the entire city. Imagine if half the city were to participate in the B2B program. Building and Safety could inspect the remaining half of the city twice as fast as it could without B2B. I'll leave the details of B2B to David, who will explain how it works and how much better it is for the participating entities. And Matt will be able to give you an idea of what rapid recovery and staff protection means to a company like DreamWorks. But I'll conclude by saying that B2B is a fantastic program, and other business entities throughout Glendale that are interested can contact me for more information. I'm happy that the City of Glendale has been able to develop this partnership with DreamWorks Animation and Structural Focus, and I'm proud to be part of B2B. At this time, I'd like to introduce Matt Bogard, who works in corporate facility and facilities operations here for DreamWorks Animation.
Thank you, Stuart. It is with great pleasure to be here today to announce this important partnership between the City of Glendale and DreamWorks Animation. The progressive and cutting-edge program highlights two of the company's most important priorities in the face of an incident. Number one, keeping our employees safe, and secondly, maintaining business operations. The B2B program does both. I hold a dual role here at DreamWorks. It's both corporate security and facility operations, making a program such as this one vital to my enterprise-wide business continuity planning initiative. We are thrilled to partner with the City of Glendale and Structural Focus. When our idea first hatched many months ago, we were all very confident that this recovery program had no downside. And today, our confidence hasn't waned. In fact, the more we discuss B2B with our industry partners and colleagues, the more evident it becomes that partnerships such as these should be a piece of a greater global crisis planning and business resumption strategy. This is a fantastic collaboration, and the city has been a steadfast supporter of DreamWorks since we first arrived in Glendale. Many thanks to them for their ongoing commitment. I would now like to introduce David Cocke of Structural Focus.
Thank you, Matt. This team has gone through nearly a year-long process to put the B2B program in place. After our initial discussions with DreamWorks and the city, the engineers of Structural Focus surveyed each of the 9 separate structures that make up the DreamWorks Animation lot. Those surveys included a review of the building's original construction documents, as well as a walk through each of the buildings. With that information, Structural Focus prepared a file for each building that includes written instructions for the post-earthquake evaluators, some key drawings, and a list of specific areas in each building for the evaluators to focus on immediately after arriving at the site. DreamWorks has provided the Structural Focus evaluators with full authority to go anywhere on the campus and even to tear open holes in the buildings if necessary to inspect important structural details. To assist the City of Glendale, Structural Focus worked with Stuart and his staff to put together city application forms which are modeled after a similar program established in San Francisco in the early 1990s. The DreamWorks building information was then compiled into detailed applications, which also include specific qualifying information about each building's assigned evaluator. The assigned evaluators are licensed engineers and are trained in the latest state-approved procedures for post-earthquake building inspections. They are also very familiar with their assigned buildings. Stewart, as the Glendale Chief Building Official, has the authority to put provisions in place to automatically deputize the post-earthquake inspectors after a declaration of a city emergency. Each year, the city requires a renewal for each of the buildings in the program to ensure that the building's owners' contacts, the evaluators, and the building information are up to date. All of this preparation work helps make the program especially more efficient than if depending on the city's own inspectors, who will obviously be very busy after a significant earthquake and are likely to be much less familiar with these buildings anyway. Because of these preparation efforts, the building inspections should also be more thorough than those that would be conducted by the city inspectors. And since our evaluators will be dedicated only to this group of buildings, if they find damage, they can immediately address the issues and will have the authority to reopen the buildings after they are made safe. This will help to get DreamWorks back to business that much sooner. With the B2B program, DreamWorks and Glendale can rest assured that they've made their city safer and that they can be back in business in significantly less time than otherwise. Structural Focus is very proud to have teamed with DreamWorks Animation and the City of Glendale to bring this program to Southern California. We hope that more Glendale businesses will enroll in the Back to Business program, and other Southern California cities will also be interested. Thank you.
Well, it's certainly nice to be back on this campus. I was here to cut the ribbon back in the 90s when it opened. My daughter worked here for a number of years, and boy, I love coming here to this campus. This campus, DreamWorks, will be the first one in Southern California to have this program. And I sincerely hope that all the other major studios in Southern California sign on after us here in Glendale. As a lifelong resident here and as a civil engineer with Army Corps of Engineers, I've been through my share of earthquakes. And being out in the field during those earthquakes, I knew we could only cover so much territory at a time. With this program, to have so many deputies, so to speak, out there in all the different areas, it's going to be great for Glendale. We'll be able to get up fast. We'll get our water and power going first, but the structural assessments of all the buildings to find out if they're sound and can be inhabited is going to take time. And studios like DreamWorks will be at the forefront of being up and running again, doing their business as usual. So it's a great day for Glendale to be the first in Southern California, right? That's right. And we're very happy for that. Thank you so much.
Because this concludes the press conference, I would like to acknowledge one other person up with us today from Structural Focus, Sam Megenkolb. He was instrumental in the development of this program as well.